So if you have any type of vehicle, it most likely gets dirty, and depending on the vehicle, you might not want it to do that. And one such vehicle is an RC car, which, because it is stored inside, we don't want it spreading dirt or dust everywhere else. So that's why in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to clean your RC car and what tools you're going to need to do it. So let's get right into it. Alright, well, that intro was a little bit different from normal. I'm just really trying to play around with the gear that I have and make something a little bit different. Go ahead and leave down in the comments if you liked it or not, or, just what you thought about it. But starting into the video, the first thing that you're going to want to do before doing anything about cleaning your RC car is just to check if it is waterproof, or just the cleaning instructions or water instructions on what to do if you're running it in wet conditions or gonna get it wet. So for me, I have a Traxxas model, so I'm on Traxxas's website here. So I'm just going to go over to the Sledge and then support, and then I can look at the manual here. And for me, this is going to be on page 21 for the water instructions for cleaning the car or doing all of those other things. And if your car isn't waterproof or the electronics aren't, you might just want to consider removing them while you're cleaning the rest of the car, or like covering them, or just doing the whole thing manually and being a lot more careful about it, because you definitely don't want to fry any of your electronics. Alright, so starting off nice and simple here, the first thing that you're going to have to do is just remove the batteries from your car, because obviously we don't want to be getting these wet and short them out, because then they would be useless. So just take off your body. Mine is clipless, yours may be clipped, so you're just going to have to remove those to remove the body. And I actually have two clips here inside to hold the battery tray, so if you would like to clean these, I usually just put them in my hand and spray them with a little bit of water, and that seems to work fine. But if they don't look too dirty or you're not too worried about them, you can just put them to the side. So then just take your batteries out. So what we're gonna have to do here is just, lift up my batteries, and boom. So as you can see here, the batteries actually are quite dirty, but we don't want to wash these with water. So to actually clean them, what I usually do is get a towel just a little bit wet, and then wipe them down, and that will clean them up really good. So let's go ahead and get outside and start working on the car itself. Okay, so I know you're very anxious to get out there and clean your car, but there's just one more thing to go over before we get to that. And it's the terms of what we're going to be using to clean it. The fan, we're going to be using it for purposes you're going to learn later in the video. And then there's going to be three other things. A wheel wrench, and for me it is the Traxxas specific 17mm hex wrench. Some sort of toothbrush or small brush so that you're able to get inside of little spots and things to get the car pretty dang clean. And then for afterwards, we're just going to be using some dry silicone lubricant so that the bearings won't be rusty or anything. And we really want the dry lubricant so that it won't attract dirt or dust and then making it more dirty for next time we do this job. So let's go ahead and get to clean the, wait, no, there's one more thing. Forgot that. And you are also going to want some sort of form of air, so I'm going to be using this blower. But if you have access to compressed air for an air compressor or something, that's even better. Just make sure that you're careful on the pressure so that you don't hurt any of the components. So let's start cleaning the car. Alright, so to start off here, the first thing that I'm doing is just using the blower that I mentioned earlier to get what I can off with some air first. But even after blowing, you can see that there is still quite a bit of stuff stuck on here, especially in those shock cavities. Moving on though, the next thing is just to take off the wheels so that we can get the car in those separately for the best results. So for now, we are just going to put those to the side, while making sure I don't lose those hex nuts somewhere. So after preparing the car, we are just going to wash the body with some water, making sure to get behind all of those different nooks and crannies with that clipless body system. Alright, were you able to see any of that? Then we move on to the car itself. Again, just spraying with water, but making sure to get all of these spots that looked extra dirty, like under those shocks. While you're washing your car, although your electronics may be waterproof, just make sure you're not directly spraying them with a lot of water. And after rinsing the car, grab that handy dandy blower once again and get the majority of the water off of the car, so that you don't have any water just sitting on the electronics, so it can't hurt any of the internal parts. Then, although you can't see it, I'm placing the car upside down so that the water has a better chance of draining out, and it will go quite a bit quicker for the drying process. Then we got to grab that fan that you saw earlier to blow air over the car while it dries to help it go faster, and so that the water doesn't dry on the car, which could potentially make rust. And as you can see here, I'm just propping up the fan so that it blows more directly onto the car, and then placing the car sideways with the body behind it to dry also. Now the wheels, finally. Although you're supposed to drill holes in the outside of the tires so that you can spin the water out afterwards, I personally don't, but I've heard mixed opinions on whether you should do this on belted tires or not. I just try not to spray directly onto the breather holes on the inside of the wheels. But now I'm just touching the car because, well, I don't know. But after a little while, you're going to want to rotate the car to help dry the whole thing. And now I'm just slowly sitting down while staring directly into the camera because this totally isn't staged. Who would do that? But it's like washing paint dry because you don't know until you touch it, but then you just get a fingerprint in it and then you need to repaint and then you do it again. So yeah, hey, look at that, I'm touching the car again. So now I have moved a few steps over to the rocks so that I don't get any lube on the concrete, but I guess you don't really care about that anyways. And right here, I'm just trying to make sure that I get something on every spot where there are bearings, which will be different on every car. And I'm doing it all on my super scientifically ultra amazing car stand that, if you ask me, is just a work of art. And now it's just the reverse of before putting on the wheels, after, of course, using my shirt to dry them because I'm impatient. But then we can put on the body. So, yeah. That's how you do it.